I think that also has been really dealt with. If you've been pardoned as a convicted criminal, has waived that particular both sentence and the conviction. That I am not in agreement. I cannot agree with the drafters in that particular section. Because if you happen to balance these two provisions, that is unjust in terms of comparing them. Equally, if you go to the threshold of judges, to remove a High Court judge, the threshold required, compare to a head of state whom the entire country has elected to serve. You are asking Parliament to have half of their majority to get him impeached, removed from office. You're asking a three-quarter. That is really imbalance. It's unfair. So if it's possible, we are proposing a three-quarter in that area as well. Honorable Speaker, I have a problem with these two concepts. And I am of the strong belief that it shouldn't be written this way, unless otherwise proven by the mover. That is, the national days. You have the Independent Day, 18 February. My understanding, this day only occur only once, that is 1965. What you have are Independent Anniversary Day and Republican Anniversary Days. You don't have Republican Day or Independent Day. Independent Day, 1965, that happened that very day. The rest are anniversaries. So it might be a drafting style, but I am really proposing this particular section to be reduced. Yes. Yes. Honorable Speaker, Independent Boundary and Electoral Commission, everyone, sub 3. Members of the Commission shall be appointed by the President, subject to confirmation by National Assembly, with a vote of less than 60% of all members of the National Assembly. This is an important commission, and which is related to vetting the National Assembly. My fear is equally the political pluralism. If this position can be compromised to simple majority, then it would have been better. And also, if you go to powers of president, that is, on behalf of the Gambian people, negotiate, sign, enter into, and accede to bilateral, multilateral agreements, include treaties that are not against the public interest of the Gambia, which shall be, I want that to be their capture, which shall be subject to ratification by the National Assembly. That all treaties, bilaterals, negotiated, discussed, to be brought forward this August Assembly for ratification. Honorable Speaker, if you also look at immunity. That the immunity granted to the president under this section shall not after the president leaves office extend or any offense in the president committed during his or her tenure in office. And also, if you look at the term limits, I said it earlier, it's really welcoming, but also, of course, I am really not comfortable with actually depriving him or her not to run for elections after this term. Trying to revise this constitution to take effect from 2016 to count that particular provision in the term of president. It is left to him, honors lies to him to decline that I am not really interested to run anymore, but it shouldn't be seen as retroactively taking a vested right, trying to put it under this current constitution. Honorable Speaker, there is this particular provision I think I listed that the president shall within 45 days assume office, nominate and appoint ministers subject to confirmation of the National Assembly, which I totally disagree. And I am not going to buy that idea. National Assembly should be seen as if, yes, these are rights given to us, and then these are powers given to us, and then we have to vet these things. So because of political pluralism and what have you, we've seen what has really transpired in this parliament. We're not going to subscribe to that particular idea. We want to recognize and appreciate the separation of power principle, whereby there are a lot of mechanisms to check on the exercise of the executive and equally also the judiciary. So in terms of bringing, semi or quasi federal system, probably to me, it shouldn't be the way forward. And yes, the issue of the speaker as well. Yeah, I think many of our members have deliberated on it, that it has not given any pathway, a clean way on the modalities on how to really go about it. And therefore, the issue has to be looked at, and then what are some of the provisions that we can rely on to carry out that particular issue. And also the issue of secularism, I think it has been really addressed by many members who gave a submission to the Attorney General to really look at, because it has really created a public outcry. And as I alluded earlier, we are not going to be shy to defend our religion we believe or we worship. That is the right. If people are not shy advocating for gayism and lesbianism rights, why would you be shy to defend a religion? So therefore, we will say an affirmative no, and also ask the minister, if possible, to actually insert that lesbianism and gayism is illegal in this country to really allay the fears of general public. I think those are my submission. Other than that, we appreciate the youth representation. We appreciate the women participation in politics, of course, and equally we also really appreciate the issue of a time limit. It's very important that we have it in this document, but of course, these points that we raise need to be answered because we are representing people, and any decision we take today should be in the best interest of our people we serve. So therefore, those interests or those issues also need to be clear. Lastly but not least is the issue of course, it's been addressed in somehow, that the judiciary. You see, let's be realistic. With the crippled economy that we've inherited, you cannot really subject this government or this country to be given this take home to the judiciary, giving them a retirement on salary, creating provision for any subsequent salary increment has to reflect on them. Which economy can sustain that? Equally also, subjecting the Minister of Finance to be given quarterly allocations to the judiciary. I am not really agreeing with that provision, and I really want to look at. I am totally rejecting that particular portion, and let it be determined by an act of parliament to decide. We can engage them to draft their pensions scheme, and which will be vetted by this August Assembly. But we cannot just pass this particular bill like that, subjecting the Minister of Finance to be given the judiciary quarterly, knowing that, as member alluded to, these are estimates. It's not as if these monies are in the central bank. Depend on the monthly receipts or proceeds. So there is not wise to really support that particular provision. They should be treated by like any other organ of government. We respect their independence. That's why we are not even asking Parliament to go into the issue of vetting the judiciary, because the person you are vetting, what is your qualification to vet that person? How competent are you? Do you have what it takes to vet lawyers and co? And also, we don't really want to compromise the judiciary, because it will create a society whereby if you don't belong to a political cohort, then it's going to be different for you to obtain this appointment or be given that confirmation in the National Assembly. So we are even at the long run of seeing element of corrupt practices may take place in this parliament. So to avert that, we are saying emphatic no, affirmative no to that particular provisions. So thank you so much for indulgence, and we hope that you come up with those clarifications, and that it will really help us in terms of making decisions in this August Assembly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kantora. May I now call on Honorable Member for Lower Badibu. Honorable Member for Lower Badibu, it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the floor. Honorable Speaker, first and foremost, I would like to thank the members of this august body for their wonderful deliberations. Honorable Speaker, I have few observations in this draft constitution. Honorable Speaker, to start with, there was a saying that there is a difference between what is right and what is correct. And as leaders, we must not say this is what is correct, but what is right always. we should go by that. Honorable Speaker, the observations that I made on the draft, first of all, is the issue of the language. The national languages to be used in this National Assembly. We don't have a language policy. Honorable Speaker, we are representing people, and 75 or 80% of those people don't even know what we are doing here. And we have seen in this draft constitution that national languages will be spoken in this August Assembly, but after 5 years. I would like the Honorable Attorney General to clear my doubts why after 5 years. Because here what we are trying to do is to make sure that there is rule of law and there is justice. And if we said we prepare this draft constitution for ourselves to suit our demands and to regulate our activities and actions, I believe whatever we say here, we should mean it. Honorable Speaker, this issue of the national languages, you as the Speaker sitting over there, we know that Gambia, we have many tribes. If we allow our national languages to be spoken in this parliament, we believe that the Speaker responsible for this august body should speak all these languages so that if anybody did foul play, the Speaker can know that, can put you into order. I would like the Attorney General to clear my doubts. How are we going to select the Speaker and the criteria of selecting a Speaker? Because the person must speak all these languages. You will not say, we're going to choose language A, B, or C. That's going to be discriminatory. Honorable Speaker, the issue of separation of powers. We have legislature, executive, and the judiciary. But if you go to the draft constitution, section 190, we were told that the High Court judges will be nominated and the confirmation will be done by this august body. Honorable Speaker, I could remember vividly that in 2017 towards 2018, I support for this august body to vet certain people that were supposed to be appointed by the president. And there was a reason why I say so. But this is an open secret now, Honorable Speaker. The reason why I am saying this, the issue of Ndao Njai and Yusuf Adiba to confirm their appointments were politicized in this august body. That's the fear I have for us, National Assembly, as a political institution. If we want to confirm the appointment of the High Court judges, we may politicize the judiciary sector. I think we need to think about this, because the reasons are, if Judge ABC knew that I participated or I facilitated his or her appointment, if I happen to have anything or if I happen to be in an event whereas I should be convicted or sentenced, where is justice now? If, for example, Honorable Speaker, the current Attorney General knew that the majority leader or the member for Woolly West or the member for Janjambure contributed in his appointment as the Attorney General. I'm just giving you a sample. If these people happen to have a problem, do you think the Attorney General will play fair? Where is justice? And in the absence of justice, injustice becomes the order of the day. Honorable Speaker, we have to make laws that suit us. We should not make laws just for the sake of making laws, or we are trying to intimidate, we are trying to, follow orders. It is very bad and it is very sad For we as Africans, we have norms, cultures, values, traditions, but we want to copy certain people at times. Whereas in those societies, the way they operate and the way we operate is quite different. So I think when we are making laws, we should be very careful what to do and what to say. Honorable Speaker, the issue of Ndawunjai and Yusufa Diba raised an alarm bell regards to this appointment or confirmation of the executive, the ministers, and the High Court judges. The whole Gambia, we witnessed what happens here. And if you want to say that the ministers should be confirmed by the National Assembly, I can tell you the judiciary, the executive will be politicized. Should we allow that? And if we allow that now, tell me, where is the separation of powers? And where are the checks and balances? We should be very careful in whatever we are doing. We are not making these laws for ourselves only, no. But we should think rationally and holistically. Those people sitting over there who entrusted us to be here. Honorable Speaker, I am saying this for the fact that history is the best teacher. A member of Nyamina Dankungu brought a private member bill here in regards to Section 91(1)(d). I believe I was the only person who against that bill. But I have seen the effect and the impact. Honorable Speaker, there is no fair law. Any law that suits a man is fair to you. But any law that don't suit you, it is not a good law for you. That's how I see it, and that's how I will interpret it. And I have my reasons of saying so, Honorable Speaker. I brought a private member bill here. Members stood in this August Assembly and said they know that it is a bad law, but they are going to approve it because it favors them. Now, where is justice? Where is good law or bad law? So today we are here to tide ourselves. But if we are to tide ourselves, let us be careful to leave certain things there so that we can untide ourselves when it is difficult. Honorable Speaker, page 49(3), freedom of religion and conscience. I would like the Honorable Minister for Justice to clear my doubt about the last option on that, subsection 3, where they said opinions. On the proclamation, they say other opinions, but in the draft, they say opinions. I would like you to enlighten that one for me. Honorable Speaker, the supremacy of the Constitution. On page 7, page 5, supremacy of the Constitution. With your permission, Honorable Speaker, I would like to read this section. Supremacy of the Constitution, section 7, subsection 3. It reads, the validity or legality of this Constitution is not subject to challenge by or before any court or other organ of the state. Honorable Speaker, we made laws. We are called lawmakers. But we don't have the power to interpret these laws. We are making something that we don't have the power to interpret. It's funny. I knew that. And I know that there might be reasons of doing so. So if I cannot interpret this law, and I have the Attorney General before me, I would like you to explain this to me as a layman for me to understand why the validity or legality of this Constitution is not subject to challenge by or before any court or other organ of the state. Why? Because we are not mandated to interpret the law. Honorable Speaker, having said that, I will go back to the history a bit to remind ourselves in terms of decision making, especially when it comes to law. This is one of the one of the most important documents of this in this land. That is the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, in 1965, there was a constitution here, and that constitution is not our constitution. We were under the influence of the colonial powers. In 1970, when we gained independence, when you tell this, some people will tell you we have independence in 1965. But an independent, you are ruling by foreign powers. It is 1970 that I feel we have independence, based on the reason that that's the year that we have our sovereignty. We are ruled by the words of ourselves. Honorable Speaker, we have seen the 1970 Constitution. I get a copy of this from the library. And right away from 1970, we have seen another constitution, one may call it, that is the degree after the throne of the 1970 Constitution. We have also witnessed the 1997 Constitution. And we said there are bad laws, there are this, there are that. And now we are here trying to make another law for ourselves. So I think it is enough now. History has already taught us what to do. That is why I said there is no good law, there is no bad law. Any law that suits a man is good for you. And any law that you feel did not suit you is a bad law. Honorable Speaker, people said there are certain sections in this Constitution, they are direct a carbon copy from the Kenyan Constitution. Everyone is entitled to your opinion. And in academia, and even in Parliament here, we are allowed to quote references, but why are we not allowed to read directly from our books or notes? If anybody wants to read directly, somebody may raise a point of order. We don't say that CRC should not benchmark or copy certain things from certain countries. But when we see that, or when we feel that this is a carbon copy, we should bring our facts to the public. We should bring our facts to our colleagues. And if you go to this 2020 draft, the supremacy of the Constitution, you go to the Kenyan type, section 2, subsection 3 is the same. Honorable Speaker, you go to section 7, subsection 4 of the draft, go to Kenyan Constitution 2010, section 4, subsection 4 is the same. Honorable Speaker, if you go to Kenyan, the draft 145, subsection 2, you go to Kenya 2010, 106, subsection 1 is the same. Judiciary section, section 190, subsection 1 is the same as 166, subsection 1 of the Kenyan type. You go to their financial matters at the judiciary level, 198, subsection 1 is the same as judiciary funds 173, subsection 4. And if you go to their independent boundaries also, 81, subsection 1 is the same as 88, subsection 1 of the Kenyan type. So people also do their research and they make their comparison. So that is why many people say this is a carbon copy direct from Kenyan Constitution. It is their right to make references to Malawi, Ghana, and others. But where are those ones? Where are those facts? Can we compare those? Can we contrast them? We cannot. So what we have seen, that's what we will say. So people might be right by saying that it is a carbon copy because the facts are very clear. What the culture, norms, and values, principles that might suit Kenyans may not suit us as Gambians. We have norms, we have tradition, we have culture, which might be different from the Kenyan type. So if you say this is the people's constitution, people's opinions and views should be captured, I think whatever they give should be captured, but not a carbon copy type. Honorable Speaker, I have been saying that I like one thing. As I said, there is no constitution which is 100% perfect. But at the issue of the powers of the Auditor General, I'm very much impressed about that. I think that is in line with good practice and in good governance. There are certain institutions, they should be independent. When those institutions are independent, it will be good for this country. Section 239, local government. Honorable Speaker, people talk about the autonomy of the local government, but still, the local government, they are looking for a percentage rate from the central government. If you are looking for an autonomy and independent, it is not easy to be independent. The word independent is sweet to say, but I don't see any country that is independent. And I don't see any continent that is independent. So when the local government says they want an autonomy, they want to be independent, and still they are looking for a percentage rate support from the central government. Where is autonomy? Where is independence? We are not living in a federal state. So we should be very, very careful, and we should inform the public what is exactly happening. I will quote an uncle, a friend. He normally mentions this in this house. When people are confused outside, we should try to make sure that they understand issues. We should try to make sure that they are not confused anymore about that particular issues. But when people are confused outside and we are trying to add that, what are we doing? Honorable Speaker, the issue of citizenship, the report of the CRC, and the opinion that they said on page 49, what people say and what they do is different. Now, where is the public view? Where is the public opinion? You yourself admitted on your report that this is what people want, but this is what you do. Then who assigned you to do that now? You are doing something that people don't assign you to do. And still you want to claim and say that it is people's, constitution. If people's views were not captured, how can it be people's constitution? Because this is what they assign you to do. You don't do that. You went and do different things, and you want to claim that it is people's view, it is people's opinion. And also, Honorable Speaker, page 70, section 89.2. Honorable Speaker, with your permission, duty to attend and address the National Assembly. Subsection 2, it says the address by the President shall relate to matters concerning the state of the nation and may include previous, current, and future policies of the government. I believe if we said the President shall relate to matters concerning the state of the nation and the word that should follow that should be shall. It should be a mandatory for the president to inform us the previous development that the government has done, the current, and the future. But if you say may, which means he has the prerogative to inform us the current one and leave the previous. And he may not tell us the future. So where are we? What are we going to tell our people? Because we approve a budget and give it to the executive for them to do what we expect them to do. If we say those people may, they can just inform you about the current development. And they will not tell you what has passed, neither the future. So where are we? I would like the Attorney General to clear my doubt on that. The term limit of the president. Honorable Speaker, this is a burning issue in the society. And I think I myself will now denounce for nobody to call me honorable, as mentioned by the member for Woolly West. Honorable Speaker, there are members who will tell people things that are not even existing, misleading the public based on the political interest, telling the public what is not even happening. Honorable Speaker, the issue of the term limit of the president, what people were saying is that the law cannot be retroactive. I think if anybody attack you on that, you should give the person the benefit of the doubt. But people have gone to a certain stage that their political interest has covered everything. And we all know the political trend, right down away from the coalition. People said, let this particular president be a coalition president. And there are clauses and sections in the Constitution that give or pave a way for the president to resign. But based on the political interest, some people say no to that. They say he's going to be an executive president. That's what the Constitution says. Others say, yes, okay. Things has revolved. And they change. So if people are saying the president should do this, should do that, because this is a moral versus legal, this and that, where is your moral the time you were talking? Where is the legality? Honesty and sincerity is very important. We all knew, we are all Gambians, we all know what is going on. People stood and said here, no, this should be a coalition government of 3 years, and we have our coalition agenda, we have our principles, we have our objectives. This is what we're gonna do, then after that, then the president moves, and we have a new Gambia. Others challenge that legality and say, no, he's going to be an executive president. And now you want to acquire that vested right from that person by retroactive measures. Is this justice? Honorable Speaker, is this justice? It's a shame. A big shame. Politicians want to use us as youths. They rally behind the youths and say, concerned youth says that, concerned youth says that. During the time of coalition, where are those concerned youths? Because now you have an ambition. Because now you have a target. All those targets fails. You want to go back.
Point of observation or point of order? Point of order.
What is your point of order on the what? Authority.
29. One again. Every member shall restrict his or her observation to the subject.
Hello? I only ask, what is your authority?
I said 29.
Yes.
Yes? Are you there?
Go ahead.
29.1. Every member shall restrict his or her observation to the subject under discussion. We are not discussing about Coalition 2016. It's the draft bill, please.
member for Lower Badibu, you can limit your contribution on the subject matter, please. Thank you. You can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. It is a saying that the youth can walk faster, but the elder knows the road. Based on that, I will give this due regards to you to accept his point of order, but it is the coalition government that this new draft constitution emerged. You cannot separate the two. Can anyone separate the two? It is part of their agendas, their objective and principles. So we must know the history. Why those things fail should be known to the Gambians. I did not go out of topic. Did I go out of topic? Yana Commission, the draft constitution, the TRRC emerged from this coalition government. And today, if you are talking about this draft constitution, how can you talk about the draft without the coalition government? So, member for Central Badibu, take it easy. Honorable Speaker, this term limit of the presidency, many members misinform the public. The reason why some people don't want to support this draft constitution because they want Adam Barrow to be this, they want Adam Barrow to be that. You cannot even understand. Because you don't have anything to say again. The only thing that you can say as politicians, we all know one another, is to confuse the public, to tarnish the image of certain people. And these are vested rights acquired by him. Had it been that people listening to the pioneers of the coalition leaders, where what we are in today, we will not be in that. That's the fact. Whether one like it or not, that's the fact. And now here we are. Because there are certain things, Honorable Speaker, embedded in this constitution. They are hidden agendas we knew. We knew very well. People mentioned certain characters here, certain people here, high-profile people. It is true. We don't say no to that. But I believe even in the judiciary sector, you have different sections that people are specialists in that. Go to medicine. Go to the medical field. You have the surgeon. You have the pharmacist. You have the pharmacologist. So those who drafted this new constitution, Honorable Speaker, not all of them are draft specialists. Anybody can challenge me on that. Not all of them are draft specialists. You have criminal lawyers. You have other lawyers there. You have draft specialists. In fact, the draft specialists are not more than 2 or 3. So how can you convince me that these are high-profile people, these are this? Fine. We don't say no to that. We understand that. But if I said, my father is a doctor and he operates people, let me also go and operate people. The next minute I will see myself somewhere. So we should allow the public to know the truth. We should give the public the benefit of the doubt. People are confused. Gambians are confused because those who represent them don't want to tell them the truth. It is very disheartening. It is very, very disheartening, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have been saying that I would like to see in this draft constitution, in the party politics area, the term limit of political leaders to make sure that there is internal democracy. But at the party level, you don't have an internal democracy and you want the top to have a democracy. What kind of democracy?